It's not about you against them. It's about, here's the problem. How do we solve this problem? And never, ever forget that you're on the same team. Also, here's a question that I have learned to ask my husband when I feel like when I feel like there's a breakdown of understanding between us. Like he's not getting what I'm saying. I'm not getting what he's saying. Hello, hi vibing it homies. Welcome to our new mini segment where I'm sharing either a manifesting piece of advice for the week or an affirmation for the week. And this month I'm sharing affirmations from my book, Affirmations for Happiness. Call them affirmations, call them mantras, call them perspective shifts, whatever you want. But they're really channeled and designed to help drop you into a higher energetic state, help you shift your mindset, and just have a lovely day. And in this case, a lovely week. So I just flipped open to a random page in the book and I asked, what's the affirmation for the week? And here it is. The affirmation goes, I follow the feeling of relief. So I encourage you, just place your hand on your heart, take a nice deep breath, and repeat after me. I follow the feeling of relief. Nice, right? My relief leads me to my greatest joy. Whenever I'm unsure what to think or what to do, I simply do whatever brings me the most long-term relief. Following my relief feels good, and that's exactly what I'll do. Yes. So that's the theme of the week, relief. If you can't go for happiness, if you can't go for joy, if you can't go for excitement, simply move towards relief. And in that energetic state of letting go and loosening your energy, more movement will be able to happen and you'll naturally start to feel better. So go for the feeling of relief. I follow the feeling of relief should be your mantra of the week. Brought to you by my book, Affirmations for Happiness. I will link to it in the show notes. It makes a great gift if you need to gift a happy book to anybody or even just to yourself. So yeah, there's your little sunshine for the week. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another magical episode of High Vibin' It, your favorite personal development and spiritual podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kelsey Aida. I'm a best-selling author, transformation facilitator, and I'm here with one of my besties, my homegirl, Lynnsey Robinson, my co-host, who is an epic hypnotherapist. So yeah, anything else you want to add to that?
Hypnotherapist, epic is good. I always say intuitive guide because I'm still getting more comfortable like advertising that I actually do that sort of thing in my sessions. So yeah, hypnotherapist, intuitive guide, and game changer. I think we both qualify as game changers for people.
And intuitive guides. We're really just here to use our gifts to help you guys grow and blossom and live your best life and manifest all the things your heart could want in the easiest, most fun, most self-loving way possible.
Which sounds like it, I know it sounds like a fake lie, but it ain't, girls. Girls and guys, it's a real thing.
It's not a fake lie. And I think we're living proof of that because our lives are really harmonious because of all the work that we've done on ourselves. And that's the same type of work that we do with our clients. And it really does work.
Yeah, it's like having it's so funny. Like I think I've said this before in the past, but it's like we have the cheat codes. The cheat codes that work for us. Some of the cheat codes that we've tried and tested and they are real. But the thing about cheat codes is like you want to like that might be too good to be true, but it actually isn't. Like the times, and we're going to talk about this I'm sure today, but like the times where it's been the easiest and most effortless for me are the times when the bigger things have actually happened. When I'm working and trying too hard is when like that resistance happens. So we talk about that a lot. Long story short, and it's just a thing. It's the law of the universe, and it's really fun when you get to actually peek behind the curtain and see that this is happening, and we love to help you do it.
Yeah, we're here for it. 1000%. And today we weren't really sure what we were going to talk about at first, but we settled on like
we're still not sure.
We settled on like a life updates and lessons and advice and growth and just talking and hang out with you guys because y'all are like our extended friend group and we love you and we want to fill you in on what's been going on, and we're sure that you're curious and we hope that you can learn from our lessons and our growth that's been happening recently.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought that would be a good starting place because I know for me, there's been so much change.
Yeah. And
So
we've had a
definitely a
lot.
lot to talk
We've
about.
had, if you've caught up with the podcast, you know that we've had a long, beautiful line of guests in the past few months, and we haven't really had a chance to sit down and just chat us to you guys. And if this were possible, we'd be asking you all kinds of questions about what's going on in your life, but it ain't. So you're just gonna have to hear from us in this
Well, if you're
one-sided
on the
conversation.
Patreon, let us know what's new in
Yes.
the comments
Tell
for
them about
sure.
the Patreon, Kelsey.
Yeah, the Patreon is where we post the video versions of every episode, and they're always extended versions. So you get bonus content. And every once in a while, we throw some little fun gifts in there for free, some little bonuses. Depending on what tier you join to support the show, you get different goodies and whatnot. So, yeah, it's just a little more tight knit community over there for the super fans and the financial supporters of the show who, I mean, I say financial like they're big making these big donations. It's like a few dollars a month.
Yeah, like
to
less
support
than
the show.
$5 a month.
Crowdfund high vibing it. But yeah, so that's a fun place to hang out. We always link to it in the show notes, patreon.com/high vibe. And when you're there, you can actually comment on episodes, which is nice. So we can
And we
have
get to
more of a
chat with
dialogue.
you.
Yes,
I
we like that.
I live for it. Yes.
But
So let's start with I guess let's start with what are all the big changes, Kels?
oh my
going
gosh,
on?
you don't say. Well, let's talk about the one that we were both involved in, which was my wedding, which was
Yes.
so epic and awesome. Oh my gosh. It was like a magical dream. Everything leading up to the wedding was not a magical dream, but the actual wedding day turned out fabulous and amazing. And like all the vendors over delivered on what I expected because I had like low expectations because I'm like, oh, like they're not going to execute exactly to my vision. Like that's not even possible, blah, blah, blah. But they did. And it was like such a good day. How was your experience of the wedding as a guest / wedding party lady?
Well, you forgot
Bridesmaid.
reluctant, introverted
Right.
person.
So this was like a
thrust.
challenging experience for Lynnsey to leave her house, to leave her kids, to go all the way to Mexico.
I'd never been to Mexico before. I will say I'm going to call out my husband right now because my husband is Mexican. Okay. So he's got indigenous DNA to this continent, which I do not have. But he grew up like, of course, speaking English. His mom is pretty fluent in Spanish. But I've never heard him attempt it. I've heard him try to tell our kids words and stuff. And I'm always the obnoxious one being like, well, I was in advanced Spanish class in high school, so I'm pretty sure I know as much as you. And he lets me do that, whatever. But I have been so humbled.
Were you impressed? Were you like,
girl,
oh, my man's so sexy, being all bilingual and shit?
This man booked. Oh, okay. So we arrived very late. So we arrived our flight. I'm still so salty about this. We got to the airport and the airline said, you know about the delay, right? And we're like, no, I just left my kids. What do you mean? they're like, oh yeah, your flight's been delayed 3 hours and there's nothing we can do. So bye. Basically is what they said. And I'm like, I'm just so annoyed because now we have to sit in the airport for an extra 3 hours. Again, first world problems, whatever. But I could have spent that time with my kids. I'm just saying. So anyway, waiting for the flight. And so we arrived so much later. I called Kelsey and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to ruin it. I just didn't want to stress her out. But I was like, the ride that you have for us, I don't know what to do because we're going to get there at like, I don't even know what time it was. Like 1? It was like 11.
Yeah.
11. And then we ended up getting to the hotel. It was late. It was so late. So anyway, we get there and we don't see the guy, the ride guy, the one that Kelsey booked for us. So my husband's on the phone with Kelsey's mother because they're just like speaking in Spanish together. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So again, we've been married 12 years, but there's never been a situation where he would need to carry on a conversation with somebody in Spanish. Never. Okay. So I was like shocked that this had not come up before, like in this way. And also very impressed. So he gets on the phone with the ride guy, like talking to him about like where he is and where we are and how he can find. I'm just like, what? I did not learn this in advanced Spanish.
Like I take back everything I said.
I will never say that again. It was very impressive. So between that and like the restaurant orders and like he just I don't know what I would have done. I do not know or care to know what I would have done without him there. It would never have happened. It just wouldn't have, because I don't know Spanish. And I don't even feel comfortable enough to like try in front of an actual Spanish person, because or Mexican or someone who speaks Spanish, because it's preposterous to think that I should try to keep up with them. But anyway, so it was he did all the talking the whole time, and I was very very impressed with him. So that was the first like thing that I felt like I needed to talk about, because good job, babe, well done.
Yay, Abel.
Yay, Abel, stepping it up. And he was so happy, because he's like, he even said like, I've never thought that I would need to like pull out these words from like my toddlerhood or like my early childhood, because his grandma doesn't really speak English very well. But he basically grew up with her, and so she would always, that's how they would speak, and so he knows like 5-year-old Spanish, like for like a child. But that was enough. That was totally enough to get us through the trip. But he was very happy that he got to actually speak it. And then he came back here and he goes, I feel like I want to like go up to groups of Mexicans and just start talking to them now, because he goes, I really miss it.
My oyster. I can socialize with anybody here.
Well, because he's like, I didn't realize how much I would miss it. So he'll see like a group of people speaking Spanish, and he's like, I won't, but I want to like walk up and be like, so what you guys talking about? Let's talk. Because he just wants to be able to do it. He's so cute. Anyway, so it was very, very nice to get away in hindsight, and get away from the kids, and actually have like grown up married person time, you know?
Yeah, because you had never left your kids before, right? Like ever.
We did. The last time we had left the kids was in 2015, when we just had Aiden, and we went to the UK for 2 weeks, and he stayed with his grandparents, and he was like 3 years old. But never have we left all three, and that was like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, never have we left all three overnight, ever. So it was interesting for sure. We would FaceTime them. I mean, Kelsey knows we FaceTime them like every day, but they seemed great.
When you got back, were they like, you guys should leave more often? Or were they like really upset that you were gone?
No, they were like, they made us cards. Jack did. And then he had everybody sign it. He like drew us a card that said, welcome home, we missed you so much. And he drew me a castle, because he knows I love castles. And he drew Abel like lightsabers, because Abel loves Star Wars.
I'm dead. That is the cutest thing.
I know. And I guess it was all their idea, because the grandparents were like, yeah, he just wanted to do it. And I was like, that's so cute. Aww. And we have this, my father-in-law was great. Like the second we got home and we all like had a group hug, it was the perfect moment. He snapped a picture, and it's the perfect picture. Like, it's just that you can just feel the picture. It's amazing. I'm so glad he did that. Normally I'm so annoyed when he takes pictures, because I'm usually like eating or like blinking, and then he'll post on Facebook, and I'm like, thanks. Yeah, he's famous for like taking the most inopportune pictures and posting them without even trying to. But this was perfect. So shout out to my father-in-law for that. But yeah, it was nice to get away. Abel got to like experience he got to show me what like all-inclusive means, because I had no idea what all-inclusive meant, or like what we could do. And
yeah, and he had fun. Everyone in, we stayed at an all-inclusive resort in Manzanillo. Mm-hmm. Colima is the state, Manzanillo is the city, and it was not like an Americanized like Cabo style where everyone speaks English and all the food's American. This was like a legit Mexican resort where everybody speaks Spanish, and the Mexican food is really legit and good, and it's been there forever, since like the 60s. And
it's beautiful.
It's like
absolutely gorgeous.
Looks like Santorini, right on the water. There was literally not a wave in sight. The private beach was like so epic. Couple different pools. But yeah, the resort was like a dream. So you'd never stayed at an all-inclusive resort before?
Never. I've never been on a cruise, never stayed at all-inclusive. The second when I actually had money to go, I was married with kids. So it was like, I know some people do it, but I just never have. So that was fun. He has before, like he used to go with his parents like every year to Mexico and do the all-inclusive thing. But yeah, it was great. We went to the pool and got some drinks, and yeah, it was nice. Your girls are amazing. I know you told me that they would be. As an introvert, meeting people you don't know is very interesting,
Yeah, and
especially
I
when it's
felt
more
kind
than
of
one.
bad because like on the day of, I was so in the zone. I like really wasn't hanging out with my bridesmaids. I was just like
No,
doing
yeah,
my
you
own
get to
hair
do
and
whatever you
makeup.
want.
I
No,
was
you
just
get to do
getting
whatever you want.
ready and I was like, y'all have fun, have some
Yeah.
drinks, have some
Yeah.
snacks. I'll see you at 6.
Yeah. 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 So she told me when I would tell her, like, I don't know, I'm meeting all these people, like, of course I'm gonna do it. And I'm really great at it. But inside it's like things are happening in my body while I'm doing it, but nobody would ever know, like I'm very good at putting on the extrovert persona when I need to. But yeah, it was easy. It was so easy because all the bridesmaids, all the people that are around you are just incredible people. So shout out to your wedding party and all the guests and everybody. They're great. Really good vibes. Good vibes all
Exciting.
around.
It was also so
Um,
cute because I feel like everyone made at least like one new friend or one great connection. And like even
yeah.
coming home after the wedding, a bunch of my local friends have been like meeting up with each other because they didn't know each other before. And now it's like these extended relationships that have blossomed from the wedding, which I feel like is kind of like a testament to mine and Jeffrey's like love and relationship. And it's just like the relationship that keeps giving. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that's so cute. I love that everybody made
Well,
friends and is like, come visit me here, come visit me there,
yeah, and here's something super cute too. Like, I know I just said how impressed I was with Abel, but he actually told his parents how impressed he was with me because he goes, everybody that we would like walk around and like Kelsey's family and friends and stuff would like look at Lynnsey and then they like walk up to her and be like, I think I know you. He's like, she was like famous. And I was like, it's so cute. They know me from the podcast and
You
they've
were
obviously seen the
famous because
headshots and stuff.
obviously everyone in my life knows the podcast. They were like, "Oh,
Right,
she's Kelsey's
exactly.
podcast
They're
host
like,
that we hear all the
I
time."
knew it was you. Oh my God. It was a weird moment, but it was actually very cool. And very, very nice to know that it's really cool to know that people know you before they know you in the way that like I don't need to worry about being anything else except exactly who I am, because obviously you're talking to me, you know me a little bit. And I feel that way when I get like a client from the podcast. They'll like listen and be like, oh, I think I've listened to your podcast so much, it feels like I know you already. So it's like, okay, good. So that's out of the way. I can just be myself. Not that I wouldn't, but it just makes it kind of is nice breath of fresh air to know that they know you're a weirdo and it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was
So you
really
liked
nice.
being famous.
For a minute. Yeah, it was really cool for a hot minute. I don't know if I could do it long term, but it was very awesome to know that you have such supportive people around you, which of course you do, but they actually know enough to listen and to know who your co-host is. And so
Yeah.
bridesmaids were great, everyone was great, lots of nice people. What else did I really like about the wedding? Well, you were a vision. Absolutely gorgeous.
The food?
I don't
Did
remember
you
the
like
food. Remind me of the food.
I mean,
Nope,
did
I
you
remember the food now. Yeah.
like the food that you were eating all week and stuff?
Yes, yeah, the food was great. I do have a little bit of beef, not
Did you
food
get sick?
related.
Oh.
No, 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 nothing like that. I had at our table where I sat, only under my chair was the only one that had like an anthill,
No.
like sand ants. I did not know that ants could survive in the sand,
Oh
like
no.
in the sand. Okay, so she
That's
had
really
all of
funny.
these beautiful tables on the beach. Like we all ate and did everything on the actual sand on the beach. And it was perfect. And they were like fire ants. Where did they come from? I was
Yeah,
so
Mexico
upset.
has some intense ants.
I didn't get
They'll
bit
bite you.
though.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't get bit, but I was like, my feet were up. I had my feet like hovering the whole time. I made Abel switch chairs with me because he actually had like pants and shoes, and I had like flip flops. So I was like, maybe if you're covered. So
Like, I'm too vulnerable. Scoot
people,
over.
yeah, man. And I
Take
don't
one
know
for the
what
team, dude.
I don't know what happened. It was just I looked at every other table, not table, like underneath the tables. I didn't see anything else. No one's
Terrible.
feet were bothered except me. So I got beef with them ants. You guys
That's really
get it
funny.
together and get out of here because
I
we're
didn't
trying
know
to
that happened. That's pretty funny.
I know. I know. How
I
weird
wonder
is that
all the
though?
things that I didn't know that went down, because we were there for a while and I was just like over here, over there, doing this, doing that, talking to this person, talking to that person. But I'm sure some stuff went down that I'm
I
just
was
not
just
aware of.
I do have to tell the people the story of the so my husband and I had an early flight the next day after the wedding. So we left the reception, I don't know, 10? Was it like 10, 11? Something. It was a decent amount of time we stayed. We went back up to our room and we had, the balcony that overlooks the pool and the ocean and all that where the party was. And so we could still see the party and the people dancing and everything. And all of a sudden I'm like getting ready for bed and my husband's out there and he's like, someone just went in the ocean. I think it's a bridesmaid. And I was like, what? So I run out and I'm like trying to see and I can't figure out who it is, but I'm like, oh my God, she's crawling out of the ocean in her bridesmaid's dress. What is happening? And I was like so confused. I didn't know who it was, but my husband said he thinks it was Sammy. I'm sorry to call her out, but she
You're
look,
called out, Sam.
if anyone deserves to go in the ocean that day, it was her. Like she needed some ocean. We were
A
all
lot of people jumped in the ocean, which made me really happy. I was like, this is a real party. These people be jumping in the ocean in their full gowns. Like, this is amazing.
Kelsey, I mean, it's right there. It's right there. You can't I did put
And
my feet in the ocean, but I
it
didn't jump
was
in.
warm and we were sweating. So I almost wanted to at the end, but I was like, don't do it. Your dress is so expensive. But I was like, how epic would that be? Like, that'd be so unlike me because I'm so like type A, put together,
Yes.
plan everything. I wouldn't consider myself a free spirit like at all. So I was like,
Yeah.
man, this would be so uncharacteristic of me to just like jump in the ocean. I'll convince Jeff to jump in the ocean. It'll be this epic wedding ocean jump. And then I was like, nah, never mind.
Nah. Because
I'd
then you have
rather,
like the decision hangover the next day. You're just like,
yeah.
should I really have done that?
And like my party pony was just popping off and I didn't want to ruin that. And then I wanted like
What the hell is a party pony?
my ponytail.
Oh, your ponytail. Yes, 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 yes. I remember the party pony
I
now. I was like, is
literally
this a term that the kids are using for
No, I
parties?
bought this hair piece off of Amazon that actually looked so
It looked
good.
good.
It looked like my hair, but just better and longer and fuller. And so for the party, I put my hair up into this ponytail and it was awesome. It really stole the show. I mean, all the
Yeah.
pictures, I'm just like, man, this pony really did it for me.
Now, was that the same one that you used for your bun or a different
Yeah.
one?
But when I did the bun, I did like a low bun. And then when I did the party pony, I slicked my hair up. So I took it all down and then put it
I
all back up.
gotcha.
I
Yeah,
didn't just
yeah,
like
yeah.
take the bobby pins out. But yeah, I did my own hair and makeup, which I didn't want to do because I had always dreamt of like being pampered on my wedding day and finally getting my hair and makeup done because I've been a cosmetologist for like a decade and I've done a lot of bridal hair and makeup. And every time I do a bride's hair and makeup, I'm like, man, one day it's gonna be my turn. I get to sit in the chair and I don't have to be the help and I'll get pampered. But then, of course, my friend who was supposed to come, she bailed and she was gonna do my hair and makeup. So that didn't work out. And then
Is that juicy drama?
it's not that juicy. It's just like, oh, I can't come anymore. Sorry. And I was like, okay, cool. So count on nobody. Just drilling
Dang.
that lesson into my head, which sucks. I got let down by a lot of people before the wedding. So the wedding was definitely telling of, certain relationships. So I'll just leave it at that without talking too much smack on the air.
Okay,
But
okay. We're gonna
yeah.
come back to it, but not in terms of like specific smack, because I do think this is important. But finish what you're gonna say and then we'll go talk about it.
Yeah, so I had an artist who was doing everyone else's hair and makeup and she did good. Like she made
Yeah.
everyone look great on the day of, but when I had my trial, I just wasn't really about it. I just wasn't like feeling like myself. I didn't really like it and I was like, man, I could do so much better than this. Like I'm not going to pay this lady to make me
Yeah.
look a way that I'm not going to like, so I'll just do it myself. So,
Luckily I had one of
DIY.
the I know that Emily, love her by the way. She went first with the makeup and so I got to see because she's got similar skin tone to me.
Yeah, you guys are both fair.
So when I saw what they did to her, I was like, okay, that's good. I'll do it.
And we
It's
told
fine,
her
it's fine.
because in Mexico they go really hardcore on the face makeup. And we were like, we don't want that. Like we want people to look natural. Like don't kick on the foundation. Like
Yeah.
everyone here has nice skin. Just like
Well,
barely do a little glow up and like do more emphasis on like the eyes and the lips.
I
Not
just
so
showed
much
her
the
a picture
skin.
of Emma Watson. If you don't know, that's Hermione Granger.
Her
I just
mind.
showed them a picture of her like in nice light makeup. And I was like, this is what I want. Thank you. She goes, yeah, it really helps to just show them a picture so they can have something to go off of. But yeah. It was fantastic. So going back to the drama real quick, I want to talk about this from your perspective. So like, regardless of anyone's whatever, how, when you say like it was really telling, like how did it make you feel? Like what was that whole experience like for you to, well, just tell us what you want to tell us without getting.
Well, basically, the gist of it is 4 of my bridesmaids dropped out before the wedding, who had already agreed to be in the wedding and be a bridesmaid. Then later said, no, I can't come, or I'm not coming, or whatever. And 2 of them had very legit excuses. And I was like, I'm not going to take this personal. It's fine, whatever. Totally understand. No worries. But 2 of them had really just like excusey excuses, and I just expected more
So
from
the
them.
difference between reason and excuse.
Yeah, like a legit reason. And because I'm so sensitive to energy, like I can tell when you're bullshitting me, right? Like I'm your friend. Just tell me legit. Like don't make up some BS excuse just to try and get out of it. Because that was like really what turned me off. So really I experienced leading up to the wedding a lot of like disappointment, feeling like I couldn't count on people, questioning my friendships. And I was definitely taking things probably more personally than I should have, but yeah, it was just kind of annoying. And then there was like a little bit of family drama, and there was a lot of like, not a lot, but a couple of people like, oh my God, Mexico's dangerous. We shouldn't go to Mexico. There's all these travel advisories. And I was like, look, I go to Mexico all the time. I have friends and family in Mexico. It's not any more dangerous today than it was yesterday or last year or 5 years ago. And so, like, most of my friends who were questioning, I would let them know what's actually up and how it works, and you're going to be safe, and we're going to a safe area. And, I've been there, it's fine. And they were like, okay, cool, like trusting in me. Obviously, I'm not going to put my friends and family in danger for the sake of a party. That's ridiculous. And to assume that I would is like so rude.
No one's okay. So I have to play devil's advocate just a little bit because I am one of those people that was like, I'm unsure. I had never been out. I'd never been to Mexico.
Never been, which is different.
I'd never been to Mexico. And to be fair to everyone, it seemed to me as somebody who does not watch the news, somebody who does not entertain fear mongering in any way, I even experienced a plethora, a smorgasbord of news stories like slapping me in the face all the time, like more than any other place about Mexico. And I don't know if the phones were just hearing me talk about Mexico, and so they're just sending me these stupid news stories. But like I'd flip through and be like, okay, well, this is concerning. Like, what the heck? When Kelsey explained, and my husband was very good about it too, was like, because even his mother and his father were like, are you guys sure about this? And they go to Mexico every year. So I'm like, now you guys are really freaking me out. Anyway, so when Kelsey explained to me that it's really, I don't know if it was you or Abel, actually, somebody explained to me that it was more the border area. Like the border area is the place because that's where all this stuff's going down, apparently. And we were going nowhere. We were flying right over it all the way into like, where did we fly into? Guadalajara. And then it's a bus, 4-hour bus, give or take, down to where the wedding is. So charter bus, whatever. Before getting to experience it, it seemed unknown and a little bit scary. So I do understand, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Like I prepared. I brought mace. I brought like protection. My husband has one too. And so we were like, if anything goes down, just aim true, girl. You're fine.
I mean, as you should when you go anywhere new that you don't know.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the distinction, is like, it's not where it was. It was the fact that I truly did not know where to expect or what to expect. And I think if I was going to like certain parts of New York or certain parts of California, like I had it anyway. Like I would walk everywhere in LA and I just always had mace with me because you should some kind of protection. But anyway, yeah, so I do get that, but I also get like once it's explained, like you can choose to be afraid and that's fine, or you can choose to just not be afraid. I mean, it's just a choice. So I do understand where you're coming from, where it's just like that was where they chose. That's what they chose to do. is lean into the fear. If that's really the case. Do you think that was really the case?
Hard to say.
Hard to
I don't
say.
think so for everybody, but I think it was more like financial for some people, just not wanting to make the investment, which is like,
that's also fair.
I mean, it's fair, but I just, for someone who's like always living in abundance, it's frustrating when there's people around me who like don't want to get on the abundance bandwagon.
Okay, I know
that's
this.
frustrating.
Girl, I am completely there with you right now.
And I would have helped them if they had told me that was the reason, but they didn't tell me. If someone was like in my bridal party and they're like, "Oh, I'm struggling to afford this, I can't come," I'd be like, "Girl, I want you to be there. I'll make it happen. I'll pay for you to come. No problem."
Yeah.
But they didn't. So that was the issue.
I don't know if I would have asked you. I mean, if I was having trouble, it's not something that'd be like, well, let me ask the bride to pay for this.
No,
like, it's
not
just not
ask,
something that,
but be honest about.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. And then
you know?
and then you would have offered it. I do know this because like I'm going on a trip in September to the UK, and my brother and my sister-in-law and their kids are coming, as well as my in-laws. And I'm just like, let's go, let's figure it out, let's do it. And my sister-in-law is very much like, let's do it, let's figure it out, let's plan it. And then my brother's like the stressed out one. And I'm like, come on, just trust, it's gonna be fine. And he's just like, stop saying it. He's like, I do understand, Kelsey, where you're coming from. Like, I'm always coming from a place of like, there will always be more money, and I want to experience life. And but I can't, I know what he's feeling as well, because I used to be there. I used to be in that mindset of like, well, if I don't have it in my hand, I cannot be sure that it's ever going to come. And that's fair. That's valid. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in both camps, but like I'm definitely dealing with that now and trying to like coax the scared, stressed out person into the light, in the sunshine, and like reminding them that like when you do stuff from joy and happiness, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. But I can't make him believe that. And I definitely can't put him in a situation where if he doesn't believe that, because then it's just going to all, you know how your mindset is everything. If you go into a situation like with that mindset, the chances of it working out and being abundant are like shrinking exponentially. But if you go into it with like optimism and, you know, mindset is everything.
And it was frustrating for me because the people who dropped out last minute,
yeah,
they had plenty of time to prepare for the wedding if they wanted to, you know, like you had over a year in advance. No, it's not like I was like, oh, I'm getting married next week in Mexico, make it happen. You know, it was very methodical, very planned out, lots of time, lots of space, lots of information. So I think that was part of the annoyance too.
How many people in the end did you have as bridesmaids again? There were a lot of us. I still feel like that. There were a lot of us.
There was still a lot. I mean, there was 7. Originally there was 10, and then 4 dropped out, and then I hired another friend to come in. So at the end of the day, I mean, not literally, but you know, I enlisted her as a new bridesmaid. So yeah, we had 7 in the end, and I only had to have so many people because Jeff had so many people, and he was like, yeah, I want all these 12 people in the wedding party. I was like, why so much? I mean, I love all my people, but like, I don't want to be like standing up there sweating, dying.
Like I had 4. I had 4 girls. My husband had, did he have 3 or 4? No, he had 4. We each had 4.
I feel like 3 to 4 is like a beautiful, perfect number.
Because when you line everybody up, the more people you have, the smaller your faces are going to get in the
picture. Jeff's people were all large.
They're gigantic. They are actual gigantic. I think they're a different species from me. I think I might have hobbit blood because they are huge people.
Oh man, it was comical. We're gonna have to post some pictures on the Patreon so people can see like what we're actually talking about. But
yeah,
my side was all the shorties, and then Jeff's side was all the super tall ex-professional football players / just like massive beings, plus like 2 to 3 normal size men in the party.
Yeah,
it was comical, honestly. It was great.
I actually had the honor of walking with one of those normal sized people because I could not physically have.
I mean, can you imagine if I paired you with like Mike or something?
Nope. No. Cannot imagine it. And I don't think the photographer would have wanted that.
5, how tall are you? A 4, you're not even 5 feet tall, right?
4'11" and a half.
4'11" person? No.
Not 5 feet, not even 100 pounds. I'm just a pocket person. I'm travel size.
She is.
Hey, which works out because I did travel for your wedding.
Put her in your suitcase. Good to go.
Yes. Yeah. So how does it feel to actually be married, or does it feel the same? Because I know you guys pretty much had the same living situation.
Yeah, we were already living together. We had already bought a house together. Just for backstory, we'd been together about 3 years before we got married. So not that much change logistically, but I think the energy of the relationship definitely upgraded, and we're both just really excited to be like wife, husband, and we're both like really proud to like be with each other and like really honored. So to call him my husband just feels so much more fitting and elevated than like my boyfriend or my fiance, you know. So I think the title definitely carries weight, and energetically it feels even more unified and even more elevated, I guess is the best word. So it definitely had like a shift, even though our daily life didn't change that much, you know?
That is exactly what happened with me.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know this because we didn't know each other. I mean, you do know this, but at the time I had a 2-month-old when we got married. He was in his tiny little Velcro tux. Was at the wedding with us. And the only thing, I mean, literally nothing changed. The night of the wedding, he stayed with my sister in her hotel room, my son, so that we could actually have like alone time after our wedding and not have to come back to this brand new baby. But yeah, that was hard even because that was the first time we'd ever spent away from him was when he was on the wedding night. So I was like really sad, even though he was only like a couple doors down. But yeah, so nothing really changed for us because we were already living together. We had a kid already, and it was like we did things a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, we
than a
did
lot of
things out of
people.
order too, and it's just like to incorporate, spring a little sparkles in here, a little wisdom. Like, don't feel pressure to live your life in a certain order. Like, live your life in the order that works best for you. Like, if we had waited to buy a house after we had been married just for the sake of doing it that way, we would have lost out on so much equity and like such good timing and opportunity. And just like life is short. What if we had died before we got to before we got to get married, and we never lived together just for the sake of like doing things by the book, you know? You just never know. So you have to live in the moment, and you have to live your authentic truth. You can't just do things in society's best order because they say so and you feel pressured. Like, fuck that.
And think about when these rules were established was like,
and why they were established.
And why. It makes no sense at all. It's mostly antiquated religious stuff. It's mostly like patriarchal stuff, and it's just it ain't it, boo.
And as manifesting generators, both of us, Lynnsey and I, can tell you that living out of the box is like, you know, part of what we're here to do, and here to spread like that permission to other people that you don't have to live by the book and in the box if you don't want to. If you want to, cool, do it. Whatever feels good to you. But if that's not feeling good to you, if the one size fits all life approach is not working for you, then change it. You're allowed. Permission granted.
Yeah, permission granted.
Right now.
That it was definitely, I could tell you with certainty, I thought it was my journey to meet someone, get married, and then have kids. When I was, because that's what you're taught. But when I'm actually in the situation, it began to make little to no sense at all. And if I would have stuck with it, even though it didn't make sense to me, it wouldn't have worked out. I know that because anything that you're going into in your life, if it doesn't make sense to you and if it doesn't fit, and we all know what that means for us individually, if it doesn't fit, it's not the best thing for you. It just isn't. So, life wants you to be happy. The universe wants you to do what fits in your life at the time that it fits in your life, knowing you're allowed to change your mind at any time.
Heck yeah.
Did I just give the key to happiness and life?
I think that's one of them for sure.
It's definitely a big one. The energy that you're bringing to any situation is the key for sure. And the mindset that you're bringing to it.
I've been asking this question to a lot of people, and I just went on my friend Grace's bachelorette. Shout out Grace and all her friends who might be listening because I told them to check out the podcast.
Wait, Grace at the wedding?
Yeah. And
I sat with her. I sat with her at the wedding.
Yeah, you guys
so fun.
She's
love her, fun. Love her.
So funny and amazing. Anyway, so I was at her bachelorette and we were on camp, Lake Winnipesaukee. The whole theme was like a camp theme. So we were like girls camp, like summer camp vibes.
Cute.
And we went boating one day on this pontoon boat, and our driver Rick, Rob, Bob, I don't know, one of those names.
Ricky, Robbie, Bobby.
He took us around to all of his friends' houses on the lakes and be like, oh, my friend such and such lives here. Let's see if they're home. And would like honk and then wave. And then the friend would come out and then we would say hi. And they would like let us use their restroom and stuff. And these are all like mansions on the lake, like super nice properties. And these people are so friendly. And we just went around asking everyone for marriage advice. Because we're like, it's her bachelorette, like she's getting married, like what advice do you have for her? And so all these like random strangers were just departing wisdom. So I wanted to ask you too, to add to the collection, because this has been obviously on my mind lately, like what's your best wedding advice or marriage advice, I should say.
Okay.
Wedding advice.
My
wedding advice is have less bridesmaids, but marriage advice.
3 to 4 is the best number. Best marriage advice. Well, you don't really need advice when things are going well. So my marriage advice is for when things are hard. My marriage advice is when things are hard, try to remember that you are both attacking one problem. You're not attacking each other. It's not about you against them. It's about here's the problem. How do we solve this problem? And never, ever forget that you're on the same team. Also, here's a question that I have learned to ask my husband when I feel like when I feel like there's a breakdown of understanding between us, like he's not getting what I'm saying, I'm not getting what he's saying. Ask them, what do you want me to understand about you? What do you want me to understand about the situation? What are you wanting me to understand right now that I'm not understanding? And that allows them to, and when he asks me that, it allows me to put it very plainly, like, forget everything. Here's what I'm trying to get at. Here's what I want you to understand. And first seek to understand and then seek understanding. It's like, so when my priority is understanding him first so that he can understand me, his priority is understanding me. It's like, instead of being like, why don't you understand me? Why don't you understand me? What are you not understanding about this? It's more like, how can I better understand you for both people? And that's just, it's like bridging the gap versus like creating one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I'm able to remember that, and it's frequent, it just goes so much smoother. You don't lose that like team effort. You don't lose the fact that you guys are both on the same team and you want the same things most of the time. And it's just about like coming together instead of like against each other. Yeah. Which that's what can happen most of the time if you're not careful.
So what I'm hearing is teamwork makes the dream work and seek to understand.
Yes.
Understanding is muy importante. And here's the thing too. This is reminding me of something Teal Swan always says. And she's so smart. I love when she says awesome, helpful things about life, especially relationships. And she's always like, we're trying so hard to love each other when really we should be trying harder to understand each other.
Yeah.
Because like a little kid can love a fish and like take it out of the ocean and be like, I love you so much, and squeeze it to death. And like it needs to be in the ocean, right? Like you're not understanding what the fish needs. You need to understand, or you can like kill it. And it's the same with people. Like we try so hard to love them in the ways that we feel loved or the ways that we give love. And we don't take the time to understand them, which is a form of loving someone. To love someone is to really understand them, because then you know what they need, what they want, what's good for them, what's beneficial for them, from a place of genuine understanding. So I think that's just a great life lesson for relationship.
I got another little tidbit that I learned a while ago, and it's, you can do this. You and Jeff can each do this. Write down like 5 or 10 things, little things that they can do out every day. 5 to 10 things that really make you feel the most loved. And then give it to each other, and then try to do at least one of those things every day. Oh my God, it's so cute.
Hey there, we hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but if you want to listen to the whole thing, we're going to invite you over to our podcast. Either search for High Vibing It on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, or even better, if you want to watch the extended video version of this episode that's even longer than the actual podcast itself, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/highvibe. Lynnsey, tell them what's awesome about the Patreon.
Patreon is where we have all of our extended episodes. As Kelsey said, we have it on video, so you can actually see the things that we're talking about. Sometimes we have visual visual aids, and it's nice to know what we're talking about. We also have hangouts that we do sometimes that are exclusive to Patreon people. And you can get started with all of this and bonus content and everything that we have only for the Patreon people for as little as $3. I think it's $3.33 a month. And that's it. And you guys can get all the benefits and all access to everything that we put in there. Really cool.
It's really cool, really fun, super easy to join. And you guys don't even have to do that to finish this episode. If you're like, screw it, I don't want to pay any money, I just want to hear the rest of this episode, go to our podcast, High Vibe in It, search for it wherever you listen. It's totally free. Either way, enjoy the rest of the show wherever you choose to enjoy it. And we will see you guys next week because we do a new one every week. Adios.
Bye.